Judy Chu. She is the chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. And as we mentioned, Republicans are trying to define Harris, to voters before she can. So take a listen at some of an ad released by Pennsylvania candidate Dave McCormick.
I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes.
Abolish ICE?
Yeah.
Is that a position you agree with?
And we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
Outdated, it is wrong-headed thinking to think that the only way you're going to get communities to be safe is to put more police officers on the street.
So, Congresswoman, do you think the vice president is going to have to step away from some of the positions she took on the border, or will some of that stuff just be unpopular with voters?
Well, I think that Kamala Harris's record stands for itself, and she will explain what she meant by each of these statements. But one thing I can say, she has been a leader on key issues for voters, whether it's reproductive rights or addressing gun violence, whether it's addressing climate change or whether it's making sure that we reduce the price of insulin. Her record is very strong on these issues, and that's what I think voters will pay attention to.
Congresswoman, you, of course, have endorsed the vice president. Is she the strongest candidate Democrats can run against Donald Trump at this moment?
She is the strongest candidate by far. She is our vice president. She's been there with President Biden on key decision-making times and with key issues. She has shown that she can go not only all across the country to talk about such issues as reproductive rights, but also has gone abroad and has represented the U.S. in over 20 countries, and including in the worldwide climate summit that occurred at Dubai. So she has shown that she can meet the test to be a good leader, if not great leader, for all of America.
And I want to talk about what a Harris coalition looks like. You know, as we mentioned, the vice president is in Atlanta today, where she's hoping to galvanize the black vote. But do you believe that she can bring that same enthusiasm to other minorities? I used to live in Georgia. I know Asian American voters are growing there. Do you think that she can motivate some of those other groups?
Well, actually, I've been on several AANHPI for Harris calls this past week. And what I can tell you is that people are wildly enthusiastic about Kamala Harris's candidacy. And I do think she'll be critical in Georgia, that she will be able to increase our numbers there. So let me tell you that the AANHPI population in Georgia is really growing. And in fact, in the 2020 campaign, they had been able to register 30,000 new voters, and President Biden won by just 12,000 votes. And this is why I always say that our AANHPIs have gone from being marginalized to the margin of victory.
And Congresswoman, as you well know, it's not just the presidency up for grabs, but the House and Senate as well. Do you think Vice President Harris at the top of the ticket bolsters your chances of taking back the House and perhaps holding the Senate?
Well, actually, people were very, very concerned prior to President Biden leaving the race as to whether it might be a drag to lower ballot races. And what we've seen since Kamala Harris's candidacy, that the numbers have been increasing and that people are so much more optimistic about being able to win these seats to take back the House. You know, we only need a net 4 seats to take back the House. And already we are seeing in the polling that the numbers for these candidates is rising.
And Congresswoman, to that end, with the vice president still considering her own VP pick, who do you think might be the best choice? You know, how much of this decision should be about the electoral map versus chemistry, which your colleague Jim Clyburn has called the most important factor?
I think this is a decision that I trust Kamala Harris will make to the best of her ability. And I believe that the number one issue is winning in a battleground state that will ensure that she wins the presidency. But chemistry is indeed a large part of it. But I think the ability for that battleground state to win is actually the uppermost of importance.
Okay, so you mean that is a top priority for you, that, you know, a state like Arizona with Senator Mark Kelly, or perhaps Pennsylvania with Governor Shapiro, you think that that should really enter into the calculation here, those key battleground states, someone that could help deliver them?
Absolutely. That is what this is all about. It's about the Electoral College. And I do think that those that you named are certainly in the lead because of those factors.
And quickly, Congresswoman, I also want to talk about the issue of abortion. Yesterday, Iowa became the latest state to implement a restrictive abortion ban. Obviously, the vice president has been campaigning on the issue well before she became the de facto nominee. But how crucial will the issue of abortion be to Democrats' chances in November?
I believe that abortion is the number one issue, actually. I believe that there are many that are just so totally distraught about what happened with the Dobbs decision. And the Iowa ban only makes it much worse. And in fact, actually with Iowa, now we have 22 states that have, in essence, banned abortion. So it is clear that we need to turn this around. Right now, young women have less rights than their grandmothers did. We need to be able to make sure that women can make the choices that they need about their own bodies and their futures, and not the politicians in Washington, D.C. And that's what will happen if Kamala Harris is elected our president.
Congresswoman Judy Chu, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.